I didn't really notice those personality disorders till after filming.
When John and Kate Plus 8 first premiered on TV, it seemed like it was going to be a simple show about a big family.
Merry Christmas, guys!
But in no time at all, everyone began tuning in to watch the train wreck that was John and Kate's relationship.
Hello, I need your help.
Go to 11.
No, I can't. Would
Why?
you come here?
And somehow, the downfall of their marriage was only the beginning of the chaos that would occur with this family.
I'm sorry.
I don't accept your apology.
Because now, almost 13 years later, life is still turned upside down for the Goslins.
Communication with my children that live with Kate is very difficult because I have been alienated from those children.
Siblings aren't speaking.
I've not spoken with my siblings in probably like 5 or 6 years now.
Kate's stealing from the kids.
Just one of the kids can file suit against mom and say, listen, you took our money, you stole it, you didn't repay it back.
And accusations are running wild.
Have you ever been abusive to any of your 8 children?
No, I've never, ever.
And you will never believe why. So guys, the Goslins first appeared on their show, John and Kate Plus 8, in 2007. They were instantly a hit sensation, mostly because people just wanted to watch Kate harass John. And then just 2 years later, they made headlines all over the world when they announced that they were divorcing. And at the time, it seemed like the show was the cause of the end of the Gosselin family, but now it's clear that they had so many more issues than what meets the eye. So obviously, John and Kate had a lot of relationship issues. We all watched as Kate mocked John for gaining weight and harped on him for not helping enough with the kids, but their problems were so much deeper than just some bickering in front of the cameras, and it goes way back before the two even met. To truly understand John and Kate's failed relationship, I think you have to look at their childhoods. John has said multiple times that growing up, he never wanted to settle down. He decided at a young age that he didn't want to get married, have kids, or work. He wanted to be a free spirit with no responsibility, but that all changed when he met Kate, because his life turned into essentially the exact opposite of everything he ever wanted. Kate, on the other hand, was the middle child in a family of 5 kids and grew up knowing that she wanted to get married and have kids more than anything, but supposedly she would tell her mom very often that 5 kids was too many kids. And Kate has said that her childhood wasn't always happy, and allegedly some old journals of her have leaked from when the kids were little, and in the journals she mentioned that her dad was not great to her or her siblings growing up, if you know what I mean. So it's clear that these two, brought a lot of baggage into their relationship, and that's still carrying over into their lives today. And so Kate convinced John to have the twins, even though he said that he didn't want kids, but then she convinced him to have one more, supposedly. But this is where the story gets tricky, because according to Kate, she had fertility issues that forced her to do IUI treatments, and according to some sources, Kate produced too many eggs from the IUI treatments, and doctors wouldn't perform the procedure on her, and she took matters into her own hands, and she claims that that wasn't the case, and that she just accidentally ended up with 6 kids. And some people claim that she was obsessed with a family of septuplets, and that was all over the news at the time, and was hoping to be like them, and she even named 2 of the sextuplets after 2 of the kids in the family. So I'm not sure that I believe that, though. I guess it's possible that Kate's line about thinking 5 kids was too many kids as a child was a lie to cover up the truth, but when you read those journals, it's clear that Kate didn't like the attention, and assuming they're real, of course, she often said that she didn't like going into public with all the kids because people would stare and make comments about how abnormal their situation was, and that she just wanted to feel like a normal family. So I have a hard time, believing that she didn't do it intentionally, but that's pretty much the only credit I'm going to give her, because almost all of the issues with the rest of their lives fall in her lap. There were so many times over the course of John and Kate Plus 8 that it felt like we were watching the marriage implode, but in reality, things didn't really explode until after John and Kate got divorced, because after they filed for divorce, the accusations really started going wild. John accused Kate of having an affair with their bodyguard, which she denied, and Kate accused John of having an affair with their babysitter, which he denied, and that was really just the tip of the iceberg, because their custody battle was insane. Usually when a couple gets divorced, they're able to get along enough for the kids so that at the very least they can share custody. Well, that couldn't have been further from the truth for these two, because from the second that they got divorced, Kate always had the kids. John supposedly wasn't allowed to see them for years. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if I've ever heard a situation like this. I mean, you'd think that they'd maybe be mature enough to at least pass the kids off to each other once a week, but apparently they couldn't even handle that. And it wasn't until 2018 when John finally got custody of some of the kids. First, he got custody of Hannah, and she said that it was just because she always got along better with her dad, but she actually claims to still be in communication with her mom and that they have a stable relationship. And I think it's important to note this is the first time since they got divorced that any of the kids have been able to have a relationship with both of their parents at the same time, and all of the other kids seem to have been forced to choose between one or the other. And then he got custody of Colin when he found out that Kate had put him in a facility for his alleged special needs. But John still hasn't spoken to any of the other kids after all these years, and it sounds like Colin hasn't either. And even though this is a sad and crazy downfall of the family, their strained relationship with their mom actually revealed something even more insane. Kate has allegedly been stealing from the kids, and the story is truly wild. So here is the deal. Supposedly Kate was making $40,000 per episode of Kate Plus 8, and I'm sure this wasn't for the show's entire run by any means, but there were 174 episodes of the show by the time it ended in 2017, which would mean that she made almost $7 million from the show. And it sounds like she put some of the money away in trust for the kids, and I'm sure that's the requirement because of child labor and all that. But then John revealed that she stole $100,000 from the two kids that are in his custody, and she didn't even try to deny it. When he brought her to the court, her response was that she needed the money to live off of, and I'm sure that that's true. And it seems like Kate has lived beyond her means for years now, especially if the income from the show, which was her main job for years, was going into trust for the kids and not in her own bank account. But here's the part that I don't agree with at all. I've seen a lot of people talk about this and talk about how disgusting it is that she only stole from the two kids that aren't in her custody, and I just think that everyone's missing a key part of the story here. John only has custody of these two kids. Don't you think it's entirely possible that she stole the same amount from all 8 of the kids' trusts, but she convinced the 6 kids that she's still close with not to come forward with it? Obviously, this is a complete conspiracy theory, but I just kind of think that John probably only has the legal ability to do something about the kids in his custody, not the other 6, and I wouldn't be shocked if this was something that was going on with all the kids. But again, this is just a conspiracy theory. Kate was ordered to pay back the money, and she still hasn't, because according to her, she's completely broke. Now, don't get me wrong, I believe it, but I also just don't get how. It's not like she's been unemployed for years and years. Even outside of Kate Plus 8, it seemed like she was always on different shows like The View and Dancing with the Stars, but it seems like everything came to a head in 2020 because she sold the kids' childhood home in Pennsylvania for $1.1 million and got out of town pretty quickly, and she bought a $750,000 house in North Carolina. And a lot of people speculated that this move was because the cost of living is so much cheaper in North Carolina than Pennsylvania, and that puts her profit about $350,000. That's definitely a nice chunk of change to live off of. But then you have the weirdest part of the whole story, and supposedly Kate went back to her job as a nurse, which to me just proves that she must be under a lot of financial stress. I mean, I can't even imagine if I were sitting in a doctor's office or in the hospital and Kate Gosselin was my nurse, mostly because we all know how harsh she is to everyone after watching her on TV for so long, and you would think that her reality TV reputation would keep her from ever being able to go back to a nursing career, but apparently she did, which truly makes no sense to me, because not only did she go back to her nursing career, but she abandoned her social media presence entirely. And let's say that Kate couldn't get any TV gigs anymore, she could definitely still get brand deals on Instagram that would pay her much more than her nursing career, because the average nurse salary in North Carolina is $50,000, and according to Influencer Marketing Hub, with Kate's Instagram following, she could make $2,000 per brand deal. So if she did just 2 of those a month, she'd make the exact same as what she's probably making as a nurse, and she probably wouldn't need to steal from her children. And the Gosselin family is truly one of the weirdest reality TV outcomes out there. A lot of people place all the blame on Kate or the show. Colin even said that he thinks his family would still be together if it weren't for the show on Entertainment Tonight recently. And I just gotta say, as an outsider looking in, I really don't think so. I think this is a family that was doomed from the start, with or without the show, for many different reasons. First, you have 2 partners who were clearly extremely toxic towards each other, and wildly incompatible in their behavior, interests, and life goals, and then you add 8 small children to the mix, and the stress of that and the financial strain. If anything, the show probably helped alleviate some of the financial strain more than anything else. As much as the show was a whirlwind of fame and drama and tabloids, I really don't think that anything would have changed if they weren't on TV, and I think that these two were doomed from the start. And I think that any family with 8 small children who are that close in age is going to suffer, and it'd be hard for any family to survive that. But then you have their clear incompatibility, and it's no surprise that they fell apart with or without the TV show. But what do you guys think? Let me know what your thoughts are on all of this in the comments below.